to get this power. I knew that it was given to me by grace and to know my purpose. You get pushed through this pain to get to this power. That tends to give a divine scar, but the power gives you reinforcement. Pushing past the pain to let your voice be heard. Pushing past your fears to let your voice be heard. How much faith do you know to overcome your fears? You have blessing to someone to hear. There's a message in your words. There's a power in your voice. Keep pushing through your pain to keep that power. I keep my faith over fear to have the power in my voice to be heard. You have the power. You are resilient and you have the strength. Your voice is powerful and you need to know that you're powerful. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power, which is the power in your voice. Use it to stand by grace. Use it to know your worth. And use it to be ready to show your knowledge. The power in your voice. A platform to be defined, which is inspiring, which is impeccable to give you knowledge, and which is the place for you to grow, to be walking in your purpose, being very amazing. The power in your voice. Hold on to that. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to The Power in Your Voice. This is your host, Sheena Gadon, and as always, we are always here to educate, motivate, and inspire. Today, we have Miss Natalie McCabe in the building, a parent coach, and she is going to tell you just a little bit about who she is, what she does, and where she's tuning in from.
All right, Sheena, I'll start with where I'm tuning in from. I'm tuning in from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah, it's awesome here in the summer. In the winter, not so much. So a little bit about me. I started teaching at a very young age, 21 years old, graduated Teachers College, started my education degree, after teaching dance, went through my life, a couple of years. Both my parents ended up passing away, and that kind of changed me and had me really focus on what is it that I want to do. I continued with my teaching, had a couple of my children, and then became a single mother when my children were 2 and 4. That was a challenge, as all parenting itself is the hardest job in the world. But when you're alone and you don't have your own parents to support you, or any real family to support, it's extra difficult. So I moved home to my hometown and realized I needed some childcare. So I opened my own childcare center at my children's elementary school so I could teach, and then they would have somewhere to go after school. That has been the most amazing part of my career, I'd have to say, to have my children with me every day after school, and to just be with them and just know that security was there. So fast forward a few years, my children are now grown up, and I decided, after working in the schools and working with so many children over 30 years, I really realized the kids are good. The kids are awesome. Parents need help. I'm doing this because I was not a perfect parent. I did not do everything perfectly, but I realized that other parents need to know that you can't be perfect. All you can do is the best you can do. And if I can support people in their journey and helping them get over obstacles, whatever age their child may be, to help them connect with their child, whatever they can do, and let them know, completely authentic and vulnerable, here's what I did wrong. So maybe you don't want to do this. Right? I'm not, because with parent coaching, I always start off by telling people what it's not. Everybody knows about life coaches and business coaches, but I think sometimes there's a stigma when people hear a parent coach, they think, oh, this one's going to tell me what to do. This one's going to, just tell me to do A, B, and C, and everything will be fine. That isn't what parent coaching is all about. It's based on the parents' strengths and their values and what's important to them. And we kind of co-create together solutions for whatever's happening. So I can't really sit down and say, oh, here's my process that I'm going to take you through, because for every individual, it's different. Every child's unique. Every parent's unique. So that's what I love about this process. It's so creative. I can't really sit down and say, here's my 6-step process for this, because it's different every time. But I love having that creativity, and it forces me to think outside the box when a parent comes to me with different issues. So I'm really enjoying it.
It sounds like it's, you took a passion, you took something and made it your passion, and it's always a great thing to do something you love, because it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like
Exactly.
what you're meant to do. So it's just like, hey, I'm getting up, I'm doing a normal day. It's not work.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that. I love the kids at school. I miss them if they're tuning in. Hi guys. Um, you know, but it was time for a change. Our education systems are not what they used to be. Um, you know, and they're supporting parents enough and not supporting our children enough. Parents kind of have to
Absolutely.
support their own children, because of the state of in the United States and here in Canada, it's the same.
So starting this as, an entrepreneurial job, how hard was it? What do you feel your biggest challenge was?
Oh, so starting my little after school program was great. It was a lot of work, but it was very kind of linear, like my teaching job. Like, okay, you go, you learn about all the licensing regulations, you get all the stuff, you did it, right? A to Z. Online business is not that. Okay. I feel like I'm like juggling like 10 plates. Okay. And then with this business, you get distracted by the shiny things, right? Everybody else in this sphere of parenting. And then I'm on Instagram and I'm looking at and I'm going, oh, well, maybe I should do that. And maybe I should do that. Like it's wow. Right? There's so much. And also being a teacher for 30 years, I was told you don't post on social media, right? You don't put your face out there. You don't, right? So
Right.
that piece of putting myself out there was probably the biggest hurdle for me, because it was just not something I was used to, and that kind of that imposter syndrome, and that all of those thoughts that go through your head, like who am I to be having a discussion about this? And it's taken quite some time for me to, if people on my personal Facebook saw I was posting about this a year ago, when is Natalie's face on Facebook? A year later. Because it's just taken me that time. But what I realized is I had to go with my intuition, I had to go with my gut instincts and what felt good to me. And when I look around the parenting space and the parent coaching space, I see everybody posting that this is my parenting tip of the day, and I'm like, that's not really, I would much rather sit down with you and have an authentic conversation
Right.
and be real and be vulnerable and let people know, like, listen, I was not the perfect parent by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do have 30 years experience of working with children and other people's
Right.
children, and I've studied early child brain development, and I've gone through tragedy and struggle and trauma. And if we had this conversation before we started, if our stories can be somebody else's survival guide, then it was worth it. And
Absolutely.
it's fun.
Right.
This is fun to me.
Absolutely. Yes. And to be able to take, the things that you've been through and be able to guide parents through different kids, because like you said, every child is unique. So
Hmm.
to be able to help them, because some kids, or shall I say, some parents, they really feel like their backs is against the wall, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do at
Hmm.
this moment? And a lot of times, like you said, there's no manual to it, and it's not
No,
easy, and we are not perfect. So it's like, it's sometimes it's a learning process as you go, being the parent, going through the situations with your kids. So
absolutely.
I
Yeah, we kind
commend
of
you.
grow up with them. We grow
Right.
with our kids, right?
Yes.
And I've loved you reiterated every situation is different. I had 2 children. I did not parent both of them the same,
Because they two
because
different personalities.
they're completely different personalities, right? So if I can help people parents with that, it's so fulfilling to see the progress that happens and the confidence that the parent then now has, at when we're finished our process. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Now you said you went through some trauma and some losses. What do you feel you learned about yourself during the process of the growth through that?
Oh, good question. I learned a lot. And, I think part of me is still learning from it. I think initially I learned how resilient I am, how, relationships are the most important thing in the world. And I lost the two most important ones in my life when I was 22 or 23. It's a long time ago, but my parents were 50 and 53 when they passed. And, I had to look after everything. And it just put me into this mode of, okay, there's no one here that's going
Right.
to do this. So it's all on me. And then, it happened again when my marriage split up and I'm here with a 2 and a 4-year old. Okay, it's all on me. And that resilience and strength and tenacity has afforded me to be able to build my after school program, a kinder music franchise for a number of years, now this parent coaching as well as teaching, and be financially independent through all of that. Mostly, uh, it really, I don't think if those tragedies didn't happen, I don't think I'd be who I am today. I'd be
Yeah,
a completely different person. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I do feel sometimes things that happen in our lives tend to guide us to our purpose of
Mhm.
resilience of who we are. So I definitely can agree with what you said of how you said if those things didn't happen, you probably won't be or know your resilience of who you are. So, everything have an action to the reasons of the seasons of the things that happen and teach us how to grow to be the person that we are meant to be at this very moment.
Absolutely.
So, you are a parent coach. What made you decide to go that route? Because you could have been any type of entrepreneur, you could have been any type of coach, you could have done zillion of things. What made you wanted to be a parent?
Well, I got to tell you, I've only ever really worked with children most of my entire life. I started teaching dance when I was 14 years old. And that's kind of what inspired me to go into teachers college. And so then years of teaching, I work with parents. I mean, I literally, I've been parent coaching for free for a number of years here,
Right,
right?
right,
And so I thought to myself, I'd like a change. The school system wasn't really filling my heart, because when you're into the school system as an entrepreneur, you're surrounded by people that have been in the system for years, and things are, I'm allowed to say this now because I'm out of the school system for you. Things are terrible, right?
right.
And the other teachers are around, they're going, well, this is just the way it is, and we just have,
Hmm.
and I'm like, what?
No,
No, no, we don't have to put up with this, right?
right,
And I just knew it wasn't a fit for me. I probably would have got myself in trouble if I stayed. So I thought, where can I use my best skills? And I thought, I know I could have used a parent coach, as I was going through my parenting journey. And I thought, I have this knowledge. How can I maximize and help the most people and help the parents? Because they're going through so much, dealing with their own things and their work and, their children. Like, it is the hardest job in the world. I know that sounds like cheesy, but it's true. Like, it
right,
really takes so much. And just to have someone to co-create with, someone that sees your strengths. With coaching, it is based on strengths. We don't go down the road of therapy and counseling and all the
right,
what happened in the past. It's like, where you are, here's your strengths, here's some strategies, you choose to use them. We're basing this on your values. And you just see those transformations happening, and just the whole family as a living system, because families are a living system, right? It's not just the job of the parent. I mean, you have to take into account, spouses and outer family and the children, and all those moving parts are always moving. It's a
right.
living system. So that to me is a challenge. But like I said, it causes me to think creatively outside the box, and it's enjoyable to make those relationships with people, because I think one of the things I learned when I lost my parents is that when you take your last breath, the most important thing is your relationships with people. The empire you built doesn't matter, the car you drive doesn't matter, the house you live in doesn't matter. it's your relationships with people. And with this parent coaching, I get to connect and build relationships with people. So
Absolutely.
I love it.
Now, do you have any parent coaching books that you wrote, or is there any coming
There
down
actually
the
is
line?
one coming. There is one coming, and it's not so much about the coaching per se, because that is so individual.
Right.
Like I said, I don't have a process that I take every single person through, other than it's called appreciative inquiry, where I take my clients through, discovery, set a dream, design, all based on positive psychology. So my book is actually called Sink or Swim Parenting: From Surviving to Thriving, from Toddlers to Teens. And it's a combination of stories, that of my personal stories and what I went through with my children. As I said, not perfect, not
Right.
out here trying to say I am, but and the research that I've done over the years on early child brain development, what I see works in the classroom, what I feel like children really need, important topics. So it touches on. My editor actually said, he said, Natalie, each chapter could probably be its own book. And I'm like, dude, I'm not up for that.
Probably. I'm sure it
But
is. How
I'm
many
not.
chapters do you have?
It's only 10, but I wanted to touch on those big
Right.
topics, and I wanted it to be an easy read. There's amazing parenting books out there. My shelf is full of them. I wanted mine to be easy and simple, and just emotional development, social skills, routines, technology, food, all those kind of big topics that parents have their struggles with, and have that best practice, and my personal stories on, when I had success and when
Right.
I
You
didn't.
didn't.
you know
Correct.
it's a real kind of raw, authentic, um, combo between a memoir and like they call it a teaching memoir, I guess. So I'm excited. So it's going to be a few more months, but that'll be coming out.
I can't wait, because see, we definitely gonna have to get you back on here when the book comes, so that we can
Yes,
dig deep, talk about it, get some conversations about certain chapters. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm
absolutely. Well, you know
please
what?
let
The
me know
first
when that comes.
I will. Well, listen, the first chapter is available on my website. People can download for free. And that has quite a bit of my personal story, and I talk about the hard parts of parenting: grief, shame, guilt, all those things that happen that nobody talks about when you have a
Right.
baby.
Right. Right. We listen,
That's what
those
I want to
things that
talk
we keep
about.
to ourselves, and we
Mm.
just, we just chuck it up and still become a parent. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
everybody else is going, it's sunshine and rainbows. Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
my
sure.
first chapter is not sunshine and rainbows. It's about the hard stuff, and that's what I feel like, people need to hear. So like what you're doing, people need to hear another voice that says, "Oh, she sees me."
Yeah.
Right? She
Yeah.
knows what I've been through. She gets me. That's what we're all looking for, is that piece of connection. And in order to have that piece of connection, people have to come out and be authentic. You got to be
Right.
authentic. You got to be vulnerable. You got to tell your truth. Now, is it everybody's truth?
No.
No.
But
But
your truth.
your truth will connect with others that are feeling alone, because I
Right.
feel like, as especially single parents, I've been still a single parent 15 years. I didn't
Right.
have a significant other to help me through all of those things. And it's a lonely job, you know?
Absolutely. You have those moments where you have to get that journal and writing it, and because
Mm,
just to get out what you're holding in, and things that you
absolutely.
emotionally are dealing with in different perspectives, because it's an emotional roller coaster, to be truly
Absolutely.
honest. It's high days, it's low days, it's just some days everybody leave me alone.
Exactly. When the kids are toddlers, would you stop touching me?
Right.
Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes when they older, it's still that. Can you stop touching me?
Yeah. Exactly.
So absolutely. So tell us, on this entrepreneur journey, what advice could you give to a future entrepreneur trying to start their business, trying to figure it out? Because a lot of times people don't start because they don't know where to start.
Hmm. And I was in the exact same spot. And so, first piece of advice is Don't follow every shiny thing you see on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, because like there's so many great marketing things out there, and there's so many great ways to do things, that I went down this path and that path and this path and that path. And oh my gosh, it was overwhelming. I ended up going, what am I doing here? Second piece of advice is follow your intuition. Even if the people out there in the like online business world are like, oh, you're never going to do anything doing it this way, resist that, because your soul truly knows what you're passionate about. Your soul truly knows what you're good at and how you can serve people and give them value, and follow that. Follow that. That's what I've done by reaching out to, being on podcasts. This is something that makes me happy. It makes me comfortable. I'm relating to people. For the last year, I've been like, had a business coach, wasted money on that, trying to build this and that. And like, it was all, and it wasn't until I sat down and I got quiet and I thought, okay, Natalie, what do you enjoy? What are you good at? How can you help people? Talking to people, having conversations, being authentic. So that's the path, that I've come to. So, if someone's starting out, if you want to get a business coach, make sure that business coach is highly aligned and knows who you are, right? And you make sure they know your vision. And even when the business coach says things, if it's not a lot, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Even if like Tony Robbins says, do it. Right? Like if it doesn't feel good for you, it's not going to connect and land with your audience, right? And your target market, or whatever tasks you want to be doing throughout the day. I mean, really think through about what tasks that, give you life, give you energy. Follow that.
Absolutely. What do you feel are maybe two of your biggest accomplishments as pursuing this passion? Because I won't even say a job, passion.
Yeah. Getting just finally putting myself out there on the social media. It's not a big accomplishment for most people, but for me it is. I've always, for 30 years out with my girlfriends, don't take a picture of me, don't post that on social media, So for me to be here with you today and doing this live, that's a big accomplishment for me. I guess another one with the parent coaching is really connecting parents. So I kind of specialize it. I can coach any parent of any kid, any age, but I'm specialized, how they niche, you want to have a niche for people. And I do co-parenting. So parents that are struggling, going through divorce or separation, that are having difficulty communicating with each other. And, that's been really rewarding, because I've gone through it myself, and I've had good relationships with my ex, and I've had not so good relationships with my ex, all the roller coaster part of it. But, most recently coaching clients that are in that situation, and to be able to bring them from not speaking, texting, nothing, and having a 2.5-year-old go from home to home and having no communication, to after 10 weeks that they're writing in a journal together back and forth. They're emailing now. They're attending doctor's appointments together. Like to me, that's a huge, huge accomplishment. It really feels good, because I know I'm benefiting the children also. I'm not only just benefiting the parents, but the children as well. So I really enjoy it.
I love it. So what message would you have out there to single parents or co-parents, or, people just parenting?
Just listen. Okay. 1, hardest job in the world. 2, be gentle with yourself. Nobody's perfect. There is no perfect way. And you know what I find with most of my clients, and I know this is a buzzword now, but hear me out. Taking care of yourself. Self-care. It's a buzzword everywhere. Oh yeah, go get a massage, go get a bubble bath, whatever. It's not just about that.
Right.
Self-care also encompasses setting boundaries with others, not trying to do everything and being okay with that. Self-care is also about asking for help when you need it. You know, I mean, I had to do that so much. I had to, you know, call some woman I didn't know on my son's parent on my son's soccer team to take him to practice, or even take him to a tournament because I couldn't, because my daughter had a dance competition or something, you know,
Right.
like whatever, right? You have to ask for help, and then that's okay. That's also part of self-care. And something else I coach my parents on is developing their own passion as a person,
Mm,
because again,
that's
this
a
comes
big
from
one.
and
That's
this
a big
comes from
one.
a mistake I did, right? I didn't My children are 18 and 20 now, and so they don't need me. I'm kind of like a consultant for them.
Hmm.
But I completely lost myself. In my motherhood role, I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what I wanted to eat. I was completely like, what? Lost. And parents say, well, I don't have time for that. I get it. I know you don't have time. However, look at it like this. If you make that time, even if it's 15 to 30 minutes a week, to develop your passion, your children are going to see that. And your children are going to emanate that. You know, they watch everything you do, right? And so when they see mom or dad doing, well, dad's doing this because this is a passion and he loves this. Well, isn't that what we want for our children? To follow their passion and do something they love? We have to do it first. We have to show them
So
how,
true.
right?
So now, because there could be somebody out there that want to do their passion, but they're struggling with it and they feel stuck. What advice could you give someone that's stuck, and how you said you feel lost because all they know is being a parent and taking care of the kids, or being a mother, or being
That's
a
all I
wife,
do.
and it's like
Yeah.
okay, so what advice could you give someone that feels stuck?
Yeah. If you're feeling stuck, the first thing you got to do is go within. You got to quiet your mind. You got to, just get off the screens for a while. Like, you really got to tap into what's in your heart. And the only way you're not going to do that by watching a show or going to movies or doing for others. You have to take that time to just be quiet. And that's difficult for a lot of people. I know that, right? It absolutely is. But look, 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. One of my clients just the other day, I just said, she was having difficulty with it. I said, look, when you open your eyes, what are 5 things you appreciate about your life right now? Start small. But once you're quiet and take all those distractions away, you will start to feel like, okay, there's probably this, I can do this action, right? But when you have all these other distractions all around you all the time, how are you going to even notice those ideas or opportunities that could get you unstuck, right? It's all
Right.
about the quiet place that you find where you can be unstuck, and start with the self-care as well. I mean, doing something for you that doesn't have anything to do with the business you're starting, right?
Right.
One little thing that brings you joy a day, one little thing. If it's just a walk out to the street and smell a flower, one little thing that brings you joy, because in that feeling of joy, that's when the inspiration and the ideas come to get you unstuck.
Tell them again. Hashtag in that 5 minutes. I'm gonna say it. Hashtag in that
Hashtag.
5 minutes.
Yeah, in that
In that
five
five
minutes.
minutes. That's when the ideas and the
Yeah.
thoughts and the inspirations come to get unstuck. Hashtag unstuck. I'm telling y'all.
Hashtag. I love it. I love
Hashtag
it.
unstuck. That's what it is for this week. Hashtag unstuck. Let's get it. Hashtag inspiration.
I
Hashtag
love
self care. This is what I'm saying.
I
And
love what
and
you're doing, girl. It's awesome.
and it's what a lot of people need. Like, a lot of people, they always saying, like, I want to do, but I don't know how to start, or I started but I stopped, or I don't have 5 minutes, but you do. Because if you
You
really want to
always
do
do.
it, you got to find it, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
taking that 5 minutes while you in the bathroom, or if you
Yep.
take that 5 minutes driving while you know, or even when you take that 5 minutes to sit. Because, like, when I'm cooking in the kitchen, that's my moment. I put on the music, I'm cooking, that's my vibe.
Yep.
That's
For
my
me, it used
moment.
to be doing the dishes after the kids went to bed. I'd have the stack of dishes, when you have two toddlers and they're eating 5 times a day, right? The
Right.
stacks and stacks. But that was my meditation back then. I would literally stand at the sink and have my little quiet music and the bubbles and the warm water. And that's what I chose to focus on, about not bitching in my head that, oh, this is a pain in the butt,
Right.
but I would flip the script and say, I'm going to feel so good when I wake up in the morning to a clean kitchen. And doesn't this warm water and bubbles feel good on my hands? And, that was kind of the what was going through my head. And it really, it's huge, those little things. Because the other thing I teach my clients is, a lot of small things adds up to a big thing. We don't go from here to here. It's all about those incremental little steps, and you have to be gentle on yourself, right? You can't sit down and say, okay, my goal for next week, like people do with their New Year's resolutions.
Right.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, and I'm going to eat salads every day. No, dude, no, you're not. So let's be realistic and take a small step, right? I'm going to meal plan this week. That's it. And then when you do that, pat yourself on the back. That's one thing I learned after my parents passed away. I was in PTSD, wasn't really a word back then, but now I
Right.
realize that's kind of what I had. And that was how I got through it, was if I did one thing in a day, if I called the lawyer that day, or I talked to a real estate agent, or I made some arrangements having to do with a will, I did one thing, I'd shut her down and I'd be patting myself on the back. Good job, Natalie. Good job. You got one thing done, and let it go.
Yeah.
We're our own worst critic, and we got to
Right.
stop that. We got to stop
Absolutely.
that. There
Because
is no shoulds,
right.
right?
Because a lot of times people put so much on them, and it's like you got to give yourself that grace that you did get up,
That's
that
right.
you like you said, did you made that phone call to the real estate, or you paid that car payment. Give yourself grace, because it's only one you, and you are
That's
only
right.
human.
That's right. And stop looking all out there. Nobody
Right.
out there is you. Look in here. That's where everything we need is, in here. Right? Don't stop
Absolutely.
comparing yourself to other people. And, I used to do that when the kids were young, and on Facebook, and I'd be scrolling, and I'd be see the nice families with the mom and the dad, and they're on vacation and they're doing this. And then I'd start feeling sorry for myself that it was just me and my kids sitting at my house. you know, I stopped that. Not that I stopped all social media or anything,
Right.
but I flipped the script and started, following inspirational people that were giving me inspiration and enthusiasm and positivity. And now that's what is all lines up my feed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like how you said, what you fill your mind with is what then starts coming around you and start attracting to you, the energy that starts coming towards you. So,
Yes.
absolutely.
What you focus on grows.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So, tell us what's next. We know the book is coming soon. What else is next for Natalie?
Oh, there's quite a few things, happening up in the brain. So the book come out, the one-on-one coaching. I hope to, in the next couple of months, start a group coaching. Whether it be, I think probably will offer both a group parent coaching, couple of week sessions. But I've seen with all the clients I've had so far that self-care is huge. So I feel like that would be my first group coaching offering, would be the art of extreme self-care, and about like the things I mentioned, setting boundaries, getting help, being able to say no, right? All of those things that people don't normally think of as self-care, but they're hugely important. Doing something that lights you up, and following your passion. Because, in all of my clients so far, that's been something that I've been coaching them on and through, because it does come first. When you're your best self, that automatically, your kids see that, and it enriches the kid's life as well.
Absolutely. Any last words for the people that you would like them to know about Natalie's parenting coaching, all the gyms, anything else you would like to share with them before?
Well, I just want people to know you're not alone. And we all have our struggles, and parenting is the hardest job in the world. And we all love our kids so much, and we just want to do our best for them. and, let go of the guilt. If you feel any guilt about things that are happening, like, let that go. It's useless emotion, my grandmother used to tell me. If you need help, reach out. I'm here. You can book a free call for 30 minutes on my website to see if it's a match. Maybe if it's not me, maybe it's another parent coach, but it really, for your whole family, for your life, if it's something that you think would benefit, go ahead and do it. And if not, know that you're not alone, and know that you can never be perfect. And, you are the best parent already for your children. So, because you love them so much, and
And you don't know
comes down to love.
so many people need to hear that, because a lot of parents doubt themselves, and they
Mm,
beat themselves up because of
yeah.
different things they might have felt, that like you said, shame or judgment, or they felt that they failed at something, and all the et cetera.
Guilty.
So yes,
Mm,
so definitely they needed to hear that.
yeah. And that's going to be primarily my message, going forward, because I know I wish someone had told me, don't feel guilty.
Right.
You're doing the best you can. And that's all we can do. But as
That's it.
Maya Angelou always said, when you know better, you do
You
better.
do better. Absolutely.
Right? So a
Yes.
little bit of education on child development or emotional intelligence, or, little pieces that could help your journey with your children just be more fun and more calm and more connected. That's what we're all looking for. So I hope to be able
Absolutely.
to share that with people.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you tell them how to work with you, connect with you, coach with you,
Yes. Oh,
call you to a place to come speak, all the above?
all the above. Well, I have a beautiful website. Just very simple. It's nataliemccabe.com. And everything you can download the chapter in my book on there. There's a self-care tip sheet for free people can download. There's top 10 communication tips for co-parents. You hear a bit about my story. There's some blogs on there about what parent coaching is and what it's not. I'm also on the Instagram, kind of new to the Instagram. Trying to, figure that out. So it's just probably best to just go to the website. You can book a free call for 30 minutes and we can have a chat.
It's always a pleasure, Natalie, to have you here. I thank you. I promise you, my doors are always open. When that book comes, please come back, because we
Listen,
definitely have some more conversation about this parents
absolutely.
coaching and hashtag self-care. Remember,
Mm,
number one, hashtag self-care, because if you're not taking care of you, how are you taking care of anybody else?
that's right. That's
As
right.
always, Natalie, we thank you again for coming. We
I'm
thank you
honored
for
to be
sharing
here,
your journey.
Queen. I am honored to be here because I want to give a shout out to you and all of the amazing things that you are doing. I'm sure all your listeners know. But, supporting schools, supporting young women, supporting small business, supporting authors, writing children's books. I am honored to be here. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, thank you. But make sure you don't leave before after this.
Yeah, I'll be
Hold on
here.
back.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I thank you as always for tuning in. This have been your host, Sheena Gadine, better known as the Lady Behind the Mask. You can find me on Facebook as Sheena Gadine, Instagram as the Lady Behind the Mask 22. You can find me on my website at www.sheenamastermotivation.com. We are always here to educate, motivate, and inspire. I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.